Carla held in a sigh as the various soccer moms and dads continued to argue about who was to blame for the team's coach deciding to accept a new position that allowed him to marry his long-distance girlfriend and move out of state. Yes, it was inconvenient, especially with the big regional game coming up. It came as a surprise that Coach Matthews would quit so close to that event. But at the same time, he wasn't making a ton of money being coach in the public school system, and even less volunteering as the soccer coach for some inner-city kids. Couldn't blame him for accepting the position at a private school that probably offered him benefits. Despite the disruption Matthews had caused, Carla wasn't in the camp of parents who argued he should be blackballed from coaching again, even if his actions made her son upset enough that he'd pushed away his dessert the previous night. Given it was Nico's favorite, blue Jell-O and whipped cream, it showed how much the change affected him. And more change was about to hit. The league had already hired a temporary replacement. That worried Carla, especially since no one had heard of this Moore fellow before. Apparently the new guy wasn't local. He'd just arrived from the West Coast and landed the position. The parents, whispering and ranting among themselves, all wondered about the new coach's credentials and worried about their precious darlings. Except for Carla. No worry on her part. She already knew that Nico was the best player on the team, and even the most inexperienced of coaches would recognize it soon enough. As the parents gathered in the school's gym, all having arrived early for the team's parents' meeting, and continued to argue and lament, Carla checked her phone, her messageless phone. It had been 6 months since her last job, longer than usual. Enough that she'd contacted her handler to ask if she were being passed over for some reason. Mother, the name her handler went by, replied with, "Business is slow. Be patient." In other words, none of the jobs needed a hit woman. Pity.